Trump's new transportation secretary is panicking right now as an embarrassing video from his past just leaked online. And this video is so embarrassing, you'll just have to see it for yourself. So we're going to take a look at this super embarrassing video here in a second, but first I want to show you the hot water that this new transportation secretary has been in recently, because I'm sure we've all heard about the horrific plane collision that happened a few days ago, and given that he is now the transportation secretary, all eyes have been on him. But just like Donald Trump, Sean Duffy only knows how to deflect blame. Just take a look at him suggesting that Biden changing the name from cockpit to flight deck undermined the FAA's security.
So, Shannon, the mission of DOT and FAA is safety. That has been the historic mission of this agency. And over the last 4 years, when they're having a conversation in the last administration about changing names from cockpit to flight deck, or notice to airmen to notice to air mission because it's too gender specific, they're focused on social justice and in the environment, racist roads, and EVs. They've lost sight of the mission of this department. And so we have no place for anything other than the best and the brightest. And so when you look at what went wrong, you got to look at the people that you have in place at the DOT and the FAA and the leadership and the direction that leadership gives them. And it's been misplaced over the last 4 years. We're back on mission. We're focused on safety and having the best people delivering that safety. And I don't care your race, your religion, your sex, your sexual preference. That doesn't matter. Just the best and the brightest.
That's insane on its own, but that's Fox News, so of course there's going to be no pushback. However, Sean also went on CNN, and Jake Tapper did not let him off so easily. Take a look at Jake Tapper exposing Sean Duffy and proving that there is no evidence that DEI is a problem that caused this crash.
So you just alluded to DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion processes of trying to expand people in the workforce. Is there any specific evidence that backs up Donald Trump's claims, President Trump's claims, that DEI or FAA hiring practices are responsible in any way for this tragedy at Reagan National?
So, Jake, I think the better question is, am I going to guarantee the American people that only the best and the brightest serve in this incredibly important body of the Department of Transportation, that they're driven by safety and DEI doesn't matter? So I do know that in the last administration, they were focused on not safety, but they were focused on changing the name from cockpit to flight deck. Or notice to airmen, they wanted to change it to notice to air mission. They focused on EVs and sustainability and racist roads, things that don't matter in regard to safety. Our mission since the start has been safety, and they've lost that mission. And we see when you don't focus on safety and you focus on social justice or the environment, bad things happen. And so listen, it's been busy. We're going to have a fuller assessment of what happens in regard to DEI in FAA and DOT, and we'll report that out. But I will tell you this, DOT is a big department. The only DEI office that exists in the whole department was at the FAA. Now, that existed up to a week ago. That's now gone.
So, again, you alluded to this earlier, that the idea of the DEI expanded the number of people trying to get into the air traffic control training, not necessarily those who graduated. The head of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association says that all air traffic controllers are subject to rigorous training and that, quote, the standards to achieve certification have nothing to do with race or gender or anything else. So it sounds like you're saying that there isn't any evidence right now that this affected the accident because it's so early. You'll let us know if there is any, but I just don't know of any evidence. And if there is some, please tell us that DEI had anything to do with the tragedy itself.
What I'm talking about is the mission of safety. And on your airplanes, Jake, or your air traffic controllers, or anyone that works at CNN or anywhere else, they do want the best and the brightest.
So as I'm sure that you can tell by now, Trump's new transportation secretary, Sean Duffy, is very unqualified for this job. But just wait until you see this embarrassing video from his past that just leaked online, because it really puts the nail in the coffin.
Another juicy secret about the real world is Sean's not a lumberjack, he's a Chippendale dancer.
I need more light, dog. Montana, give me some light. Get my boy putting reaction of the crowd.
Sean was really pushing the limits. He wanted to see Montana's mountains,
Want to give them to us?
but she wasn't ready to reveal the peaks.
Oh no, seems as I learned my lesson in Puerto Rico.
Of course, on this trip, I had to ask about everyone's favorite topic, SEX.
I swear, Trump has to be purposely trying to pick the most unqualified and frankly the weirdest people out there to be in his administration. The fact that we went from Pete Buttigieg to this is just so sad. But here's the craziest part. Sean hasn't even been in this position for a week, and he is already off to a terrible start. And something tells me that it isn't gonna get any better from here.